No, you ain't. No, you're not. You're not. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put up with this right now, but I'll tell you what, bless God, we get married, I'm fixing to yank her up in line here. Nope. No, you're not. You can't change each other. You can't make each other do these things. For a marriage to be what it's supposed to be, the husband has to choose sacrificial love and leadership to the wife. And the wife has to choose submissive spirit and respect to her husband. But when you do choose, this doesn't make one better than the other one, by the way. These are roles. Everybody say role. R-O-L-E, not R-O-L-L. Some of you thinking about lunch already. These are roles. What's better? What's better? The on a basketball team, the center or the power forward? Well, I don't know. I mean, you need both. So we're talking about biblical roles here. They're just a difference in roles. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. It just means that there are different roles. Now, I will say this. I have seen a lot of women that would come in for counseling that have a very difficult time with the submissive spirit aspect, but many, many times it's because the husband is not exhibiting sacrificial love and leadership. Try this for me for 30 days, if you will. Husband, try exhibiting these things. Well, I don't feel like it. Well, bless God. What is this, your birthday? I mean, if we only did what we felt like doing, we'd be the sorriest people on the planet. I mean, some of you didn't feel like coming to church today, but you're here, and you're probably going to be better off than whatever you're going to be doing if you stayed home. So, initiate. Do what the Word says. You know what? Some people, it's amazing. Sometimes folks will come in for counseling, whatever, they say, oh, it's such a fog. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. You know what I've discovered in my lifetime, both personally and professionally and in every other way? Obedience clears up a lot of fog. It really does. If you just obey, all of a sudden, there's a wind of the Spirit that comes from somewhere and starts to blow the fog away, and then you can see clearly. You go, oh, okay, that's how that's supposed to work. Husbands, choose to love your wives sacrificially. Choose to give leadership. Now, that doesn't mean dominate. A leader leads, and people follow. Sometimes husbands get this mixed up, and they think, okay, that means I've got to be cracking the whip. No, if you're cracking the whip, you're behind. If you're leading, you're out front. And wives, sometimes, don't get too amen to me, because here comes yours. Sometimes I have folks come in, have wives come in the office, and Nancy and I will sit down and we'll talk, and they'll say, oh, I just wish he would lead. I just wish he would make decisions. I wish I would follow him if he would just leave. And so we kind of bring him in, talk to him, kind of get things lined up, whatever, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, he's trying to step out and lead, and she's going like, wait a minute. And I said, no, you said you wanted him to lead. You see, what has to happen for a godly marriage is that we have to crucify our flesh. Because the enemy will come in and try to make husbands passive and not wanting to provide leadership. Try to make husbands selfish and self-centered and all about them and not about the wife. And all of a sudden, then the wife dies on the vine and shrivels up. And he can't do that. Then he'll come over and try to make the wife domineering, and just beat the husband down and just won't let just the thumb. See what you can get off in the ditch in either one of these things. But if we will simply listen to the book and do what the book says, then what we are having is an alignment with the principles that work. They work. God is the designer of marriage. And if we will do these things, that means that we need to stop demanding our way and start trying to give to the other person. Do you realize that a husband, if you make your agenda to meet your wife's needs, as soon as you're aware of what they are, as you meet your wife's needs, if you make your agenda to try to meet her needs before she even knows what those needs are, before she even, if you make your agenda to try to sow and sacrifice into that, do you realize that that will create a cycle of positive things that can happen in your marriage? Wives, do you realize that if you would align to your biblical roles, why does God say husbands, wives, respect your husbands? Because God knows that honor and respect is the number one need that a man has. It starts before he ever gets to kindergarten. My dad can whoop your dad. My dad would tear your dad up. Well, we'll just call our dads and see. What does it matter to a 4-year-old whose dad can whoop who? Because if my dad can whip your dad, then I get respect and honor. Why do guys keep trophies for stuff? How many, be honest, how many of you still have trophies for stuff you did in grade school? Junior high? High school? College for sure. They may be in the attic, but you still got them. Why? That trophy was $20 worth of plastic. What's the big deal about it? It's what it symbolizes. What does it symbolize? Honor, respect. So wives, if you do what the word says, you are meeting the number one need your husband has. Husbands, if you do what the word said, you are meeting the number one need your wife has. The number one need she has for affection. We can go off on a trail about that too. There's different kinds of affection, but if we just do what God says and get over ourselves about whether I feel like it or not, if we do what God says, if we sow, we will reap the benefits. So biblical priority, make your marriage a priority.